Hi, Reed. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Dad?
I'm fine.
I'm
It's
also
good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Who is that voice from the Beyond? Just introduce our special guest.
Yeah, so this week we have a very special guest. It is my roommate, Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Hi.
She said hi.
Yep. You
Yeah.
can get closer to the microphone so that we feature Emma as well as Reed.
Yeah, so we are huddled together in my dorm room. As Emma is here to be our help us review our thing. Our review.
This is a very special guest for a very special episode that is a different very special than our previous very special episodes.
Yeah, it's a more normal very special.
Exactly. That should be the title of this particular episode, episode 11, a more normal, very special episode.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Emma, how do you feel being the very first guest?
I am very excited. I am an avid listener of your podcast.
Yeah.
So this is a dream come true for
It's
me.
like the only podcast you listen to.
It's the only podcast I listen to, and it made my Spotify Wrapped. And I'm just
That's
very thrilled.
amazing.
Yeah, so our number one listener.
Wow. Nice. So, sorry, I just spaced the question I was going to ask you. This is fine.
This is a good listening experience.
This really is a very special episode. Okay, I'll come back to that because as you were talking about being a listener. Oh, have you rated the podcast?
I think I'm a really bad listener, and I've forgotten to
So,
because I mostly watch it while I'm at work.
as soon as we get enough ratings, then it will be revealed to the Spotify place. Or the on Spotify it'll actually show like this is a 5-star podcast or this is a 4-star, but we have to get enough ratings before that actually happens.
I will do that immediately after this.
Okay.
This is a 1-star podcast.
However many,
It's a
no
5
pressure.
billion
Yeah.
stars.
Whatever you feel is correct.
It's 5 billion stars. You guys have kept me sane at work when I have to file in the back room and I don't want to.
Yeah. For
That's a great
context, Emma
endorsement.
works at the registrar's office. So.
Which, if you're wondering what a registrar's office does, think about all the paperwork you hate filing. We have to deal with it.
That's Emma.
Yeah, I get to file it. Please be nicer on your forms and in your calls.
I send special requests to the registrar's office to change a grade or something or fix an incomplete or something like that.
Yeah, I got a stack that was probably a good 4 inches tall of grade changes that I had to file one day.
One of those was mine.
Great. Nice. That's a great story, actually.
My grade change?
You got an F.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't get an F. I was given an F briefly in band, and that made me panic because that should be a very hard class to fail because basically the requirements are show up and that's it. So I showed up the entire time. I missed one class because I had not a bad reaction. I just didn't feel good after my flu shot or something. And so I missed a total of one class and I went to the concert and I did everything. And then I got an F on my transcript. And so I emailed my professor, very panicked, and said, "What did I do wrong? Please tell me what I can do differently and how I can do it better." And he emailed me back saying, "That was my fault. My bad. This is supposed to," he'd gotten confused because my name in the system is not the name that people call me. And so he had assumed oh, I don't know anybody by that name in my class. Right. There must have just been someone who just never showed up. So he fixed it and now I have an A. So we're good.
Excellent. Hey, Emma, how many Fs did you get on your report card?
I didn't get any Fs, which
That's pretty good. That's way better than how many Fs Reed got.
I now have no Fs. I now have all A's.
But for a moment, you had an F on your transcript.
Yes, and it was terrifying.
Yeah, I bet.
I probably would have cried.
How
I didn't tell anybody about it until I got it fixed.
I would have cried. I would have had a meltdown if I got an
I'm pretty
F.
sure. So mom doesn't even know, and Anna probably doesn't even know.
I think I told them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because it came up when you and I were talking at some point, and I don't think they had known.
They find out now.
I think
Yeah.
they at least knew that there was stuff I was trying to figure out with my band professor.
Right.
I don't know if they know the specifics of it because, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't tell us stuff like that.
Because that's scary stuff, and I don't want people to think that I'm like a bad student or something because,
Right.
you know, I somehow didn't show up to band the entire year.
Mm-hmm. But we knew that's not the case.
Yeah.
And when something scary happens, the important thing is to keep it inside.
Yep, and that's what I did.
Yep. Good job. Thanks, son.
No
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
Really good at that.
Therapists everywhere
So,
are quaking.
You guys start your semester on Monday?
Yes.
Yeah.
2
You
days.
excited? Is this a good thing?
That we're starting?
Yeah. Are you excited?
I'm excited for my classes. I don't know if I'm excited for the workload.
Right. Emma?
I would agree. I'm excited about being in class and kind of being out of the weird limbo that comes from being between terms.
Yeah.
But I am also a little bit sad that I will probably be losing my free evenings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, from someone who's been in spring semester for a few weeks now, I can tell you it's hell. So brace yourself. But you'll be great. This will be fun. I'm excited for your classes, and we'll check in later about how classes are going.
Yeah.
But for now, we want to get to our review, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the movie is, we are reviewing the movie Shang-Chi
Yes.
and the Ten Rings
Legend of the Ten Rings.
and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
Okay. I've now seen it twice. I rewatched it in preparation for this review.
Nice. I didn't do that. The last time I saw it was showing it to you the first time at Thanksgiving.
Right.
I also did not rewatch it. The last time I saw it was during last finals week when I was stressed and I was like, I'll watch this.
When it came out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, because it came out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Excellent. So this is about the level of preparation we expect for this podcast. So we're all in good shape. I'm guessing that you guys, having watched it many weeks ago, you probably remember exactly as much as I do, having watched it like 48 hours ago. So we're in pretty good shape. So what's the synopsis of the movie? And maybe you can give more context about like how this fits into the Marvel universe, because I'm not sure if I understand that entirely.
Yeah, so Shang-Chi is set in the fourth phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It takes place like after like Endgame and stuff. So if you've been keeping up with the Avengers, it's like after that.
There was some cool, I caught it the second time, there was some cool like little side things like posters and like public service announcements saying, hey, are you stressed from the post what's
Snap.
it called? It's post snap.
Blip.
I
like
started
snap.
snapping. You saw me starting to snap. So the post blip trauma or post blip anxiety or something. I thought that was really super clever, but of course they thought of those things. Okay, so it's post blip.
Yeah.
So what else should we know?
So we got hints of these things called the Ten Rings in the first couple Iron Man movies.
What?
Yeah. So in
For the listener who can't see, like Reed's telling me this like in a very straightforward way, and Emma's nodding emphatically, like, of course any idiot knows this, that the Ten Rings clearly were in Iron Man. Yes, go on.
So they were not really the Ten Rings. They were a like terrorist organization using the name the Ten Rings out of Afghanistan.
I think so. They blew up Tony Stark's house.
They blew up. They were the original people who kidnapped Tony Stark, and
they blew up his Malibu house.
They blew up his house in Iron Man 2. And then in the third Iron Man, we meet the Mandrake.
I think it's Mandarin. It's after the orange.
Yeah, it's after the orange.
Mandrake would be in Harry Potter.
Different
IP.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Get your universes straight, buddy.
Okay. And then, and that's where we meet this actor guy, Trevor, who also appears in Shang-Chi. And then we learn that it's not Trevor. Trevor's an actor who is covering for this white guy who is a fire monster person and dies. But that was all using the name of this actual person whose name I don't... Wenwu. And who is Shang-Chi's dad, who has these 10 rings, like bracelet things that go in his arms. And he uses them for like immortality and to basically conquer the world and stuff.
You can use them as weapons, and they like send them flying through armies, and they're very overpowered when you actually think about it. And they're not really explained how they function.
Yeah, we don't really understand how they work, but they're cool.
Yeah. They're really cool.
They're really cool.
Yeah. You can blow stuff up, you can protect yourself with shields, and you can make big booms and apparently fly.
Yeah.
And send the rings flying off and they come back.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's like every super weapon combined is what it seems to me to be.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Okay. So, so the guy takes them off.
Yes. Because he wants... Because he meets a magical woman.
She's from the Talo village. So she's like magic because everyone in the village is from a different like realm. Yeah. But like she's not exactly magic in our world, I don't think. Like she just, I don't know.
Yeah, she's not magic.
She's not magic like Doctor Strange is magic. She's magic
Doctor Strange is the master of the mystic arts. He's not magical.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's very...
You call him a wizard too often at this point for me to not just be like, magic.
So Thor's
a god.
Okay. So he can go from one point in space to another and doesn't lose his powers. But Shang-Chi's mom just leaves her forest and then she loses all her powers.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's like implied that she gives up a lot.
I think it's like she's like gets too far away from the source of her magic or something like that. And then...
Okay.
I don't know. It's like... This is not what it's like at all, but it's like cell service. You get too far away from the tower, you can't use it anymore.
Honestly, a pretty good description.
She needs 5G magical powers instead of whatever she's got.
Yeah.
Roaming. Her roaming service is pretty crummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can't imagine if no one's seen this movie, how excited they are to see this movie at this point.
They're just confused and have turned off the podcast at this point.
Yeah.
Also, this is not where the movie starts.
No, this is background information.
This is all background information. The movie hasn't actually started yet.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start in San Francisco. And the guy who plays, or the Shang-Chi, who's Sean, as a character in San Francisco, and his best friend, whose name I just spaced, but Katie.
Played by Awkwafina.
Our queen.
What? Or what?
Our queen. I love Awkwafina.
Okay. She's wonderful. Yeah, she's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And I would seeing her kind of in comedy. Well, this is kind of a comedic role, but I wasn't thinking, oh yeah, this action movie is perfect for her. But she's fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite character in the movie.
It's a good character, yeah.
Although the sister is also very good.
Sister's very good.
Xialing.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's awesome. I dressed up as her for Halloween.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, outstanding. Nice. So we've kind of boggled everything. Like we didn't start at the beginning, but that's fine. There's a great intro scene, or close to the beginning there in San Francisco, and Shang-Chi kind of reveals who he is in some kind of sense, and it's kind of revealed to him kind of his place in the bigger scene. We figure out that his dad is looking for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
In a way.
he and Katie are like living their lives and going about business, and then they get randomly attacked on the bus. And Shang-Chi figures out that it's his dad that sent the people. And so he's like, I got to go warn my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they're taking so his mother gave him a necklace. Both him and his sister, she gave them necklaces, and the guy who came on behalf of his dad took the necklace, and so he wants to go and warn his sister.
Yep.
And that starts the plot.
Yep.
An awesome part on the bus, which is great.
Yeah, that's a fantastic scene. Then he goes back to, where's his sister? Is it Hong Kong?
I don't
Maybe?
fully remember.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, good. They have to fly a plane across an ocean.
Yeah.
And they get there. I forget what metropolis it is, but it's in a big building. Sister, long story short, it's a pretty outstanding collection of action scenes. And then it's revealed, hey, Dad. And then Dad seems to be pretty grumpy about the whole thing, takes them both back home. And then it's figured out that he's going to like try to find the mother that has passed in ways that are kind of mysterious to us until we find out later. And then we figure out they're not exactly in line with their dad's thinking. I hear this happens to people. I don't understand it. And then it turns into a big mystical, fantastic battle that includes magical armies, a lot of tech, the 10 rings, and some dragons.
Yeah.
And and Awkwafina learning to believe in herself.
Yes.
Yes.
And in the end, Awkwafina, Katie, realizes I don't want to give anything else away. Okay.
One fun note is that when they go to find Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing, there's this line where they're like riding up the elevator of the big building that you mentioned to try and find her. And they're speaking in Mandarin at one point in there. And Katie's like, oh, my Mandarin's not good. And like the dude was like, in English, oh, don't worry, I speak ABC. And it's really fun because it's a joke in and of itself, where it's like ABC English, that's very fun. But ABC also stands for American Born Chinese. And so it's kind of a nod to that community of people who are like Katie, who like probably grew up with Chinese family or something like that, but don't actually have the same level of like cultural knowledge or language skills that their family that immigrated has.
Oh, fun.
So it's a very fun nod.
Yeah.
I speak American-born Chinese is a whole other line. I thought I was just catching it like, oh, ABC. Those are the first 3 letters in the alphabet that I use.
Yeah.
Totally get it. That was clever.
I love it because it's like it works both ways. But I remember when we were in the theater, I think I was sitting next to Reed and I was like, Reed,
You got very excited.
this also means this.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your review? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Okay. Okay. So people should see this movie.
Yeah.
As if they're still listening, they should see this movie.
If you haven't already seen it and you're
Yeah.
on the fence and still listening by some miracle, you should go
Or
see
if
it.
you've seen it once and you don't quite remember it, then you should see it again. That would be my
Mom.
plug. I wasn't going to name names, but yeah.
Mom loved that movie, though.
My mom
Yeah,
loved
she
it
did.
too.
Mom said after we watched it, she thought it was like the best Marvel movie. I don't know if she said ever or just in a while or something, but she really liked it.
My mom said the exact same thing. My mom was like, this is like my favorite Marvel movie that you've shown me.
Yeah, so it's a good mom movie. Except she did not like the little the little fluffy moth.
Oh, the thing that didn't have eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name?
I don't remember.
Oh,
Trevor?
wasn't Trevor the guy?
Trevor's the guy.
Trevor's the guy. Okay.
Here, let's see if I can find it really quick on Google.
I don't know, like Kevin or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. Although Kevin is a minion.
Yeah, and a
Despicable Me.
bird.
Oh yeah, Kevin might be overused.
Morris.
Morris. Oh yeah, excellent name for. He does look like they look like a Morris.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that disturbed Mom more. Than,
Mom was very unnerved by Morris and was just like, but why doesn't he have eyes the entire time?
Yeah, or a face.
Or a face.
Or a head.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
But can still see.
Yes, but
Because he's
also
magic.
there's this guy with 10 rings, and he can fly and produce shields and shoot and punch. So
I was gonna say, I don't think Morris is the most unbelievable part of the movie because, like, have you seen some of like the deep sea or like deep cave creatures that don't have eyes? Maybe that's what Morris is. Maybe he's evolved from them
And just fluffier. And just fly.
fluffy and has wings.
And so if you're listening out there, it's okay to be different. That's what we learned from Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fictional character who has like 10 minutes of screen time.
How long is the forest scene when they're in the car? Because Morris isn't all of that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just my estimate.
When he comes back towards the end too.
Oh yeah, because he plays dead with Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It turns out it's probably pretty easy for Morris to play dead since he doesn't have to close his eyes.
He just
Plays it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think is likable about the movie? Like, other than moms like it, moms who don't naturally have an affinity for Marvel Universe.
It's a fun movie in that it's kind of like a bunch of different genres and stuff all in one. Like, it's like a fun like action movie and like has hero's journey element to it, but then it's also got like some fantastical stuff and that kind of thing. And then it's also like accepting yourself and like, yeah, friendship. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a good friendship. Oh, I didn't know this thing about you, and then accepting that thing about you and and sticking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And supporting each other throughout like some crazy drama.
Yeah. Yeah, it got pretty real there.
Yeah.
Emma, what do you like about it?
I think besides everything that Reed has already said, one of the things I really enjoyed about it was how they integrated Mandarin throughout it. Because I'm learning Chinese right now, so it was really fun to see it used more than just the opening scene, which is what you see a lot in movies. So I think that was really fun for me as a watcher. And it was also fun to see where there were lines that they would say where I'm like, oh, interesting. So that's how they chose to translate that. And it doesn't like really change the meaning. It's just like the specific words they used that didn't quite match up with the subtitle, which was kind of fun to be able to recognize. Mm-hmm. And then also the cast is amazing. Like, it's just a really good cast.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things I would add to what Reed said.
Bless you, Mom.
Yes, you hear that?
Yes.
It's amazing. When I have my headphones on and the mic, I can hear more in the house than I can when I'm just hearing things with my ears.
Interesting.
Yeah. 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 So we get features of cats, of Mom sneezing in the other room, of random creaks in the house, sometimes the dog barking out in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I getting back to the movie, I liked it more the second time I watched it. I don't exactly know why, but or I don't know why I didn't like it as much the first time as I did the second time. But I really liked it the second time, and for all those, the kind of like someone discovering more about who they are, both in Shang-Chi and in Katie. And and the sister too. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. She has a name.
Xialing.
Xialing.
Yeah, I only know it because I dressed up as her.
Okay. And then the second time I watched it, there was a second hidden scene. Like usually the Marvel movies have some, like they show some credits and then you pan out to this other scene like, oh, this is foreshadowing of something. And I saw the first one, but it was only after the second time I watched the movie that I caught there was a whole other extra scene that I had missed.
Oh, really?
I can't remember which order they came in.
I don't remember.
Because I remember one in a bar.
Yeah, with Dr.
Yes.
With not Dr. Strange.
With
Wong.
Wong. Yeah. So that's the one I had seen. And that's kind of fun. Like, and that gives you some foreshadowing that, okay, there's going to be some connection with Doctor Strange. Right? I think that's where it's going.
I assume so.
Yeah. And then there's a scene at the very end with like Banner and stuff, right? Or is that the same scene?
I think that's the same scene.
Yeah, it's the same scene.
Oh, is there another one with
Captain Marvel?
Trevor and...
No.
I don't remember.
The very, very end. So maybe you didn't see it. Maybe I actually know more about this than you do. So it's at the very, very end, and you see Xialing in her bedroom, her childhood bedroom.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And then it pans back, and she says something like, "Let's get started." And it shows the rest of the compound that her dad had developed. And I don't want to give too much away because there's different sets of people there than would have been there before, which is empowering. And also there's like, everything's like got this cool tagging graffiti all over the compound that kind of goes back to where we originally meet her.
Yeah.
In the movie. There's just cool new vibe, new art, new scene. So I wonder if something's going to come of that, or if that's just like a resolution to her story.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I think it'd be cool if she got her own movie or was integrated more into the wider MCU.
That would be so cool.
She's a cool character.
So what do you think is going to happen next? Because it does say like, and Zhongli and Ten Rings is returning, like all those movies do. What do you think is the next thing?
My prediction would be that they're going to tie it in with Doctor Strange, because they're really tying everything back to the new Doctor Strange that's going to come out. Mm-hmm. Like they tied WandaVision to it. They tied the new Spider-Man, if you've seen that, to it.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you should. You guys need to. Reed hasn't seen it yet. You guys need to see it. It's so good. But they tied the new Spider-Man into Doctor Strange. They've tied this into Doctor Strange. So I think that
they're really setting
the
up
Doctor Strange. What is it? Something of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness. I think is going to be really big as like our next stepping stone into the bigger plot of Phase 4. Are we on 4?
We're 4.
So that's my prediction. Is they're just trying to bring everything into this like linchpin.
Yeah.
That Benedict Cumberbatch is. I think he's gonna. He'll get his name out there.
Yeah. One day people will know about that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is only a shame because, I'm worried that he won't have enough time to do Sherlock.
Well, I don't know if Sherlock's coming back.
It just seems like it's done.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Which is very sad.
And yet there are other good things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can do other things, I suppose.
I guess you can always develop new hobbies, ideas, interests, skills. Reed, what do you have any other things to contribute about what you predict is happening next? Where this goes?
I think they're gonna do more with like Emma was saying, like with Doctor Strange stuff, but then I think they're also gonna tie in. Oh, you haven't seen Loki though. I think they're gonna.
Should I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I think because the Loki TV series deals with a lot of multiverse stuff and people keeping the timeline in check and making sure there aren't too many splits off into different multiverses.
Okay.
So I think they're going to do more with that because there's some stuff that happens at the end of Loki that's going to come into play more, I bet.
Loki has a lot of important lore.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
There's also that lady that's coming in at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or not the end, but in Falcon and Winter Soldier and at the end of Black Widow.
Oh, Valentina?
Right.
Yeah, and there's a whole...
played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
She's from Seinfeld. Like all my generation knows her from Seinfeld.
Oh, she's the girl in Seinfeld. The one woman character.
Elaine, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know their names.
Yeah. This is funny that just occurred to you now.
I've seen like 5 episodes of Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's funny because that's immediately who
your generation.
Oh, what's she doing here? Where's Jerry and Newman and all these other characters?
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, she's creeping in. Okay.
I think she's probably going to have to do something with like the alternate Avengers plot line from the comics.
There's something sinister going on there, right?
Because she was like talking to the other Captain America. I don't know if you've seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I have seen that one.
Okay, so she was like talking to the like recruiting, it felt like. So I was like, what's happening here?
And from Hawkeye, she's also in that, or she's linked to that because at the end of, apologies for spoilers, but it is very hard to talk about anything Marvel without involving some kind of spoilers.
Yeah, there's still plenty you couldn't keep it straight even with spoilers, so
yeah.
I think we're okay.
But like Hawkeye, in the Hawkeye, Yelena is their Black Widow's sister.
Yeah.
Because she's been recruited by Valentina's agency. Like it's not necessarily just Valentina. It's a bunch of different people. So I think there's going to be like something with that. And like.
Right. All right. I think Hawkeye has been my favorite recent Marvel component.
That was a good one.
Because it's a little simple. Like it doesn't. Well, no, it does tie in the stuff with Elena, but.
I think I read a quote somewhere from like one of the Marvel execs or producers or something that was like, you basically have to watch the TV shows now to get the overarching phase information for the movies, and you have to watch the movies to get the TV shows. And I think that I definitely agree, because when I think about any of the TV shows, I'm like, oh yeah, there is that little bit of information there that is relevant to this movie and comes from that movie. And I'm like, this is such a mess at this point.
Yeah, I remember when I took Anna, my sister, to go see Black Widow this summer, that end credits, because she hadn't seen, I don't know if she has yet, but she, at least at that point, hadn't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier. And so watching the end credit scene, she didn't really get it. And I was like, oh, she's in this other show, which you should watch that one. Cause it's good.
But maybe some things are just hidden there for the nerds. Maybe these things are being written and created at different levels so that you could just go and watch oh, Shang-Chi and the cool rings and there's a dragon. and for others, it's like, oh, so, and then that ties back to this other component and these other, I don't know. Maybe it's meant to be seen at all levels, or maybe they're really just dealing it like heroin and you get hooked on it and you can't stop watching it because the next thing, you won't understand the next thing unless you've watched the previous thing in all of its different forms.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think like things like that, like them getting Disney Plus is like, cause then it seems like everything's going to be there, but then like the new Spider-Man won't be there because that one's technically owned by Sony, which is not under the Marvel category.
Oh, but I thought I read somewhere that it was going to come to Disney Plus. We just had to wait, or maybe that was streaming in general.
It might just be streaming in general because I've heard it's going to go on.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
What?
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's the other possibility.
I don't know.
I just remember then there was that whole fiasco the other summer where it's like, there's not going to be another Spider-Man. Sony pulls out of contract deals or whatever with Disney. I remember I had too much time on my hand, evidently. And I was doing some reading and it sounded like none of the Spider-Man movies will probably ever be on Disney Plus because of the way the contract's written. And they'll probably be on like Sony's streaming service because I think Sony has one. I could be wrong though.
I don't know.
Well, they're probably, even if they didn't, I can see them saying they wanted one and wanted to own that content somehow.
Which is like honestly kind of cool because Sony's like one of the last few not owned by Disney. Mm-hmm. And we can appreciate that, but we also want to be able to watch Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to watch Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You have to.
Way to cheer for the underdog in Sony.
Little known company, Sony.
Yeah.
Real up and comers.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, so many of them are owned by Disney now. Like 21st Century Fox is owned by Disney now. Marvel, Lucasfilm. Like all of
just
these.
Turning on the Disney Channel, you just see all the Star Wars franchise and all the Marvel franchise and all the Pixar franchise, and and you can see Hamilton on it. So
you've got every type of watch video enjoy.
Yep.
What? Oh my gosh, my brain just broke. You got every type of video or film you could desire on there.
Yeah, the Beatles documentary "Get Back" by
Peter Jackson. Yeah. That one looks
Disney Plus.
Good.
I think I really want to watch it. We've been talking about it and then we forget when we actually turn on the TV, I think.
You guys should do a review of it so I can listen to your review and then decide if I'm going to watch it.
That's the service that we provide.
Yeah. And it would be like really good because you did Blues Brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
And did you watch Blues Brothers?
I have not because I listened to it during midterms or something.
Okay.
I can show you Blues Brothers at some point.
I think that should be what you watch tonight, and here at home maybe I'll watch.
I don't know. I am showing her Schitt's Creek right now, so
I'm hooked.
That's a pretty good show.
I'm so hooked at this point. I was like, we watched like 4 or 5 episodes last night.
It's fine.
And I was like, Reed, we're watching more tomorrow night.
They're so good.
I've heard where you are, and I can understand.
Yeah.
Why you would keep watching.
We just met Patrick.
Yeah, I think as soon as we met Patrick, I texted
is he? Oh yeah, I remember.
Mid-season 3, right? Or beginning season 3? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good.
He shows up a couple times.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're in that section of it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I feel like Reed's keeping something from me.
I'm not saying anything.
There's nothing to keep.
She was just talking to me about predictions last night, and I was just not saying anything because I don't want to confirm or deny anything.
Because he makes high-pitched noises when Patrick gets on screen.
No, I just love the character development of David.
It's a good character development for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but Patrick and David are not in Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. Well, that would be outstanding.
Oh, that would be really fun.
It'd be so cool
if David Rose just appeared in the middle of a battle.
Just Schitt's Creek is playing in the background of like, in like a TV store or something as they're fighting through past it.
Yeah.
So what is this? Yeah, I can just see with his sweater.
Ew, David.
I don't know what that means.
Yes. He just walks away. All right. We should wrap up. Do you want to wrap up any questions of the week?
Sure.
Got one? Okay.
I don't have one yet, so someone else has to go first.
I have one.
Emma has
Okay,
one.
go ahead. Emma, special guest Emma, what is your question?
I would like you both to give me 3 reasons besides the fact that you both live there that I should go to Utah.
Okay, I think this will be the question of the week.
Are we not just Emma's question?
I think, yeah, for Emma's question for you.
Sweet, that makes it easier.
Yeah, I think this makes it really straightforward. And that's a really good question. So why should you visit
Yes.
Utah?
Mountains.
Besides the fact that you guys live there.
Mountains.
Okay, yeah. And you've never been here?
I was once when I was like in 2nd grade with my parents, and we went to Arches and a couple, maybe one or two.
You to Bryce.
We went to Bryce. We went to Arches. I think those were the main 2 we went in Utah. We kind of just did like a little loop in Arizona, Colorado, Utah.
Sure. But you remember it through your hazy 7-year-old brain.
I remember a thunderstorm.
Uh-huh.
And I remember that it was really hot and there was a lot of very soft sand. And that's kind of it.
Okay.
That's the best sand in the world.
Yeah, that is good sand. I'd say because Reed doesn't have this perspective, but I'm like you, Emma. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. And when I moved to Utah, even just visiting as an adult, but moving especially, the fact that like right now I'm looking out this window, it's the middle of January and it is crisp blue skies. And if you've grown up in Oregon, Western Oregon or Washington, I guess I do see some sun coming through.
Reed and I are looking out at the blue sky.
Yeah, it is currently Oregon blue sky right now.
Climate change.
It's pretty amazing.
But the difference between Oregon blue sky and Utah blue sky is that it ends in a white down at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's a pale blue the entire time.
Yeah.
Utah, it's like a bright blue.
It's a sharp electric blue.
Like summer at the beach blue?
I don't know. It's like,
yeah, it's kind of different.
Oh.
But lighter.
Like your fan?
No.
We're just looking at all the blue items in our room right now.
Yeah, it's not so much the shade, but the crispness of it, the starkness of it.
I guess it's kind of like a variation. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just so blue. And then like right now
So it's not cloudy. Like you can have storms come through and get 6 inches of snow, which we would like more of.
Yeah.
But typically we would get that. And then the next day it's bright blue skies.
That's so weird.
With the snow.
Yeah. So that would be really weird too.
I remember when Reed, first rainstorm here, he was like, this is the weirdest thing because there is no thunder. And then it like just kept being gray for a while. And Reed was like, this is just weird. Yeah. You also notice the moss grows on everything. It does not stay to one side of the trees.
Like I grew up going to Oregon, but there's something different about like just seeing it constantly. And then.
Yep. It's just gray, moist, damp fog for months on end. And here you get blue skies for months on end. And it's the switch between the two is stark.
Yeah, it sounds really weird.
It's great.
Yep. So I think, and then the mountains that like just rise up out of nowhere. Like you have mountains in Oregon, but you don't know mountains like
mountain ranges.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And people in Colorado say, oh yeah, we got mountains, and they do, but they live far from them and the mountains are in the distance. And here it's like
2 blocks.
I mean, the problem is we're on a fault line, but cool. There's a mountain that just pops right out. Like my first road trip here, we like, why does the road stop here? And it was the middle of the night. We didn't really understand how the whole community was like, we kind of ran into something. And then the next morning we wake up like, oh, well, because there's a mountain that is literally like a mile above our head that just popped up right there.
Is it kind of like Hawaii in the sense that there aren't really the same foothills that you get out in where we are right now in the Pacific Northwest, where there's just like a lot of lead up to the mountains, but like if you go to like Hawaii, they're there.
It's similar in that, yeah.
Similar, except everything is mountain.
So how do you know where the mountain stops and starts?
Where there's people.
Oh, okay.
where there's roads versus where there's trails.
Okay.
Or where there's, I don't know.
And then off in the other direction, it's all basin.
Mm-hmm.
Like Great Salt Lake is just part of a giant basin.
Reed has not spoken highly of the Great Salt Lake.
It's an amazing place, but
I mean, I haven't spoken highly of it because the main attraction for me is the spiders, and you don't like spiders.
Oh.
So everything else about it is not as fun.
I only want to see the round sand.
Oh yeah,
the Ulitic sand. Yeah,
Ulitic sand.
We'll take you there.
It's poop.
I know
that has been built salt around.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have good sand in Utah.
I don't want to see the spiders.
Okay.
We can avoid spiders.
I will make you keep the spiders away from me.
We'll avoid spiders. Okay, yeah.
I'll just cling to you and be like, Reed, if there's a spider, please get it away from me.
Okay, they
You'll have warning.
They go across the trail, like their webs span
Oh no.
like feet.
No.
So we will just go not in spider season and then we'll avoid spiders.
I hate that.
And this is not everywhere in Utah. This is just at Antelope Island.
It's an attraction.
Yeah, it's actually an event.
Who goes there? Australians?
No. Families.
Nerd kids like Reed.
No, we go the week before or week after, so then we go without the people.
Right, because we're uber nerdy and we have to have the space to ourselves and not with the other people.
Meanwhile, out here you go to see the garters make egg nests hatch.
Ew.
Because then there's just a knot of snakes down in the grass.
Yeah.
It's my turn to make Reed uncomfortable.
Any other reasons, Reed, for Emma to see Utah other than you?
Our pets.
I want to meet your pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're here.
I've heard so much about them.
They're all right.
They're pretty cute.
We have very good snow. Snow is different here than snow you've experienced. It's dry and powdery.
I say Reed complains
It's
about
fluffy.
snow.
So this, you know how I walk on my tiptoes in the snow? It's because it's all gross and squishy. We don't have any snow now. It's springtime.
We might get snow in February, but
maybe. But right now it looks fine. And so there it's just like everything, it's just silent. Whereas here it's squishy.
I think my dad talked about it because my dad in college skied and he learned to ski out here. And he said something about it being called like cement or something, cement snow or something as like the term. And then he's like, when I went out to the other side of the mountains and like to ski, he's like, I immediately like fell on my face because I was expecting more resistance than I got. Yeah.
It's very powdery, dry. I might go skiing tomorrow, Reed. So.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it will be.
Oh, there's the other reason I want to come that's really nerdy.
Oh, Emma wants to see the golden spike.
Oh, excellent. We can go by Golden Spike on the way to Spiral Jetty, which is another great
It's an art installation by a section of the Salt Lake.
It's in Great Salt Lake, although
the other direction.
As the water level goes down, then it doesn't look like it's not in water.
Yeah.
But it's in this lake bed, salty lake bed.
Someone took a bunch of stones and made a spiral.
That sounds very cool.
It's giant and very cool.
Yeah, like you have to, like it was machines came in and dumped the rocks.
That sounds so cool.
Spiral. It's very cool. Yeah.
Can we throw rocks into the Salt Lake?
Yeah.
Sure.
I want to sploosh a rock.
Okay.
Well,
like those TikToks where they have a rock.
You can only throw one. They don't want you to fill the Great Salt Lake in with rocks.
But don't they want the water level to rise again?
What are you talking about then?
I'm just making up a rule. Like, if everyone threw rocks in the lake, then
But displacement.
we just fill. Well, that's a good way to bring the water level back up.
That's what I was saying. Is like, don't they want the water level to bring back up? Because you said the water level was going down.
Rocks.
So we just throw rocks into the Salt Lake.
Problem solved. See, this is why this podcast has gone on for 50 minutes, is so that we can get to this societally.
And then for water levels rising, we just take rocks out of the ocean.
Yeah. We take rocks out of the ocean and put them in the Salt Lake.
Yes.
There we go. And then if anything gets imbalanced, we move more stuff around.
It's not at all like
This is not how we're going to solve anything.
There's not like there's very different environments in the ocean and the Salt Lake or anything, or
They're both salty.
different kinds of salty.
Different kind of salty. One has an
Much
outlet.
saltier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One also has some deep sea creatures. I don't like to think about it, and one has like nothing living in it.
There are two things.
That's like nothing.
Brine shrimp and brine flies.
That statistically is like nothing.
It's a lot of things. There's a whole industry around this stuff.
Yeah. That's what makes the sand.
And migratory birds. Lots of migratory birds stop off of Great Salt Lake.
And it's really fun. The flies just like will sit on the sand next to the water, and then you can chase them and they go.
Oh, so you do that with seagulls where I grew up.
There's seagulls there too. Seagull, the California seagull is Utah's state bird.
Oh my gosh! Washington's is just a goldfinch. Like three other states have the goldfinch.
And you laughed at ours.
Ours is the name of another state.
Ours is like three other states have it.
Because they ate some grasshoppers once.
Did you guys have a swarm of locusts?
Yeah, and they came, a long time ago when it was a bunch of Mormons here. And then the locusts came and ate everything, but then the seagulls were here and saved us.
Yeah.
The seagulls they both kind of sound like invasive species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like maybe the people brought the locusts.
I think they did.
So in conclusion, we are our worst enemy.
Yeah, but it was like a sign that God was saving them and that this was in fact the place or something.
Yeah.
That Brigham Young had foretold.
Is that why they were like, yes, Utah?
That was later.
Yeah.
But
they'd been here a while.
Yeah, they had been here for a while, but
for a season maybe.
Yeah. But like when Brigham Young had come into the Utah Valley and said, this is the place. Ignore all the other people who already live here. And this is where we're going to be, and build a lot of grid road systems. And now we're here. And now that we're here, let's have some farms. And then, oh no, there's locusts. But good news, everybody. We have seagulls. That's what I learned in 7th grade.
Yeah. And here they come.
I just had to draw a map in 7th grade for state history. Though they did randomly teach me about Brigham Young going to Utah. They were like, this is important for you to know. And I was like, I live in Washington.
I don't think he went through Washington.
Nope. We are west of you. And north.
It's all part of the Great Migration, the California Gold Rush, the Oregon Trail, Brigham Young, the immigration of Mormons into Utah. Like, those are all similar stories. They all had similar routes.
Yeah, but then they don't tell us about, the Harlem Renaissance or the Chinese Exclusion Act or any of that stuff. No, unimportant.
Nope. You're right.
But
Emma, we'll take you to Golden Spike.
Yes! I'm so excited.
Okay, let us know when you're going to be here. We've got a place for you.
And I get to meet your cats, and you can take me to the spirally rocks and the round hoop sand. And I can stare at mountains and
That's
be
all
like,
one
tall.
trip. That's all one trip. We can look at sand and the Golden Spike and the swirly.
And then I can the whole time just be like, oh my gosh, mountains are tall.
And that part, we won't have to look at spiders.
Yay! No
There's not
spiders!
spiders over at Spiral Jetty.
No spiders.
Yep. All right. That was an excellent question.
Yeah.
Any other last words?
Nope. Do we have anything in our mailbox?
It's empty.
Okay.
We did get some really good feedback on our last episode, the covers review. So,
did we?
If anyone has made it through the end of this episode, God bless them. And if they haven't heard the previous one, we should just say that one has gotten some really good reviews.
That's good.
Yeah. But that was all word of mouth and communication here and there. No mail.
Remember to email us at an email address.
At our email address on the website.
Yeah.
The website is mouthsounds.org. I believe the email is dearmouthsounds@gmail.com.
Yes.
And that would be, and we'll get, or fill out the contact form at mouthsounds.org.
It's really easy. I did it once.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, thank you for having me on your podcast. It was so much fun.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for being our first special guest ever.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, maybe this is the only time we will ever have a special guest.
Yeah.
I would be honored. But I also understand I'm a hard act to follow. No, I'm kidding. I'm such an easy act to follow.
That's not true.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Emma. And you can do whatever you want with your feelings, but Reed, good talking to you, and keep your feelings inside.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Okay.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.